Liz McDade, a huge Columbo fan and a small business owner living in Santa Cruz, California. And this is my brother.
I'm Paul McDade, an editor, an actor working in the TV and film industry in Los Angeles. And this is Trenchcoat Cigar Peugeot, Wandering with Columbo. In each episode, we'll bring you a little Hollywood history, glamour, and behind the scenes as we walk you through Columbo, one of America's greatest TV detective series.
Today's a special bonus episode of Trenchcoat Cigar Peugeot because we're interviewing the creator behind Watch It for Days. Shonna, welcome, Shonna.
Thank you.
And in case you haven't heard of Watch It for Days, you should watch it. Shonna creates really in-depth reviews of each episode of Columbo on her YouTube channel. And the reviews have snippets from the episode, funny commentary, tons of information and details on the actors, locations, backgrounds, and some reflection and thoughtfulness. And your videos have tens of thousands of views, so they're very popular. You have over 4,000 YouTube subscribers, over 1,000 Instagram followers, and we are so happy and excited to chat with you. So welcome, welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm honored that you invited me.
Yeah, we both have watched your reviews and we love them. I was watching one of them this morning in the kitchen and I was laughing out loud and my daughter was like, "What, Mom, what's so funny?" And I was like, "Oh, you got to watch this." And
That's sweet.
yeah, it was great. So yeah, we're stoked to talk with you. We love to find out how you started watching Columbo. Tell us about your connection, your background to the show.
Well, it's a super simple story. Like, I did not grow up watching Columbo. I wish I could say I did. I never heard of Columbo until about 8 years ago when I went to go visit my mom and Columbo was on. She had just bought the box set and Columbo was on. And I was like, what is this show? She's always watching a new show. And she's like, "Oh, this is Columbo. I used to watch this when it first came out." And so I kind of brush off whatever she's watching because I'm not always that interested in what she's watching. But Columbo caught me. She was watching Etude in Black at the time.
Oh.
And I was like, this is odd but interesting. And I had her restart the episode because it was just so good. And it's just as simple as that. I just went to go visit my mom. She was watching Columbo and I was hooked immediately.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So you'd never heard of that?
No.
Oh, wow. Had you heard of Peter Falk?
No.
Oh, okay.
I hadn't. Yeah, it's very, you'd think that since I spend so much time in my videos, I act like, oh, Columbo's been my whole life. But no, it's just that I've never really come across a TV show that was quite as fascinating as Columbo to me.
Yeah, it's kind of tucked in the background. Like my kids and people, older than my kids, we're inundated with so much stuff. I don't ever see much about it.
Yeah.
Anywhere, So it's almost like a cult.
Right.
Not a cult, but
Right. Yeah. Like you have to find it. Columbo doesn't just show up for you anymore. Although it seems like Columbo's getting more popular lately to me.
I wonder if with the algorithms and stuff, if they're able to pin us that way. Like as soon as you start watching it, then it's like zip, zip, zip. You start getting, more feeds on your YouTube channel or
right.
Freeverse or wherever it's you happen to watch it.
Possibly. Very possible. All right. So 8 years ago, you started watching Columbo. And now tell us how you went from watching Columbo to starting a YouTube channel about Columbo.
I've been dickering around with YouTube for like 7 years, probably. I've never, ever been successful with YouTube ever until I started doing these Columbo videos.
Wow. Awesome.
Because, my soap channel, I don't even have 1,000 subscribers. I've had that channel forever. I have another channel that's a video game channel that I've had forever. And it's never gone anywhere because video games are, everywhere. Everyone has a video game channel. I started making these Columbo videos because I've always enjoyed picking something and getting really deep with it. But most of the time, nobody cares. I just decided once I'm going to make a deep video about prescription murder because it's such a good show. It's such a good episode. And I uploaded it and went through all sorts of copyright problems. But even through that first video, people kept finding it, and it was really exciting and very encouraging. And so then I continued, I kept going, and it kept getting popularity. And now it's just like, it's very exciting and very encouraging to just keep going. It was just kind of those, I'm just going to do this. It wasn't a big planned out thing, or I thought it was going to be successful or anything like that.
Yeah, when I saw that one, and I commented too, I think on YouTube, I didn't realize how difficult it is to, I've done like family album type stuff on YouTube, but like I don't think I've ever used other stuff. And the way you explained it, like how they would reject it, right?
Yes. So YouTube has a robot that catches copyright, and you have to actually get a hold of the people who are copywriting it. So that's NBC and Universal. And right now, they are such a thorn in my side, because I've had The Most Crucial Game done. The video's done. It's been done for over a week, and I cannot get them to let it go. So my subscribers are so supportive, and they're like, we'll wait. We know it's going to be good. That's really nice.
So they don't tell you, you have to try and guess what is breaking their copyright?
Right. Well, so the robot catches like 20 seconds of something that they say, oh, this is copyright. But the problem with it is, if I edit those 20 seconds and then I re-upload the video with those 20 seconds edited, it catches a different section of the video. It doesn't list, there's copyright here and here and here and here and here and here. Now fix all these places. But they just show you one little thing, and they don't tell you everything that is going to be caught. So it's just like, it takes a total of like 4 hours to just get the video back up on YouTube, to get copyrighted again, and then for me to edit it again. And it's just a mess all the time.
Gosh.
So I think I'm going to be trying once I get The Most Crucial Game through, and next is Dagger of the Mind, I'm going to have to stick with still shots almost exclusively, because it takes so long to get the video out.
Yeah, that must be so frustrating. I can't imagine having to go through that. So your videos, for anyone who hasn't seen them, have little snippets from the show. Right. And is it that the snippets are too long, or they just don't want any snippet, even though you're obviously changing it in a creative way? And
yeah, it's really hard to answer that question, because my first struggle was with Prescription Murder, and then things were going really smoothly because I would dispute their copyright claim for every video. I've always gotten one. But then they've released it. They're like, okay, you can have your video. Until The Most Crucial Game. For some reason, they keep rejecting it, no matter how, like, it's so edited. It's not like I'm playing a 30-second clip of the video or of the episode.
Right.
Yeah.
Thankfully, you've been able to get, is it 11 episodes up there so far that you have?
Yep, I believe it's 11. Yep.
And those have been super fun. Paul and I have both watched multiple of your episodes.
Thank you.
We were hoping to kind of chat through some of your process for how you put these together. And I heard you mention, I was watching The Greenhouse Jungle this morning, and I heard you mention you were looking at a script. Let me see if I can remember. It was a scene in Greenhouse Jungle where Columbo visits Mrs. Goodland.
Yes.
On the boat. She's on the boat with Ken, and he shares with her the rumor he heard from Gloria that Tony was going to pay some guy who gets a suntan for a living $50,000 if he left his wife alone. And you mentioned that scene had some more, I think this is when you mentioned the script, the scene had a bit more in the script that didn't get included.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about your access to the scripts, or were you?
Well, I don't actually have access to the actual script. Most of my research is from the internet, but I also have the book Shooting Columbo.
Oh, you got it.
By David Koenig. I don't know if you have that book.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I try extremely hard to never plagiarize. So when I find particular interesting things in there about each episode, I want to include them so bad, because he knew about that script. So I kind of summarized what he said the script was supposed to be. That extra scene, I guess.
Right.
But most of my research comes from multiple different places on the internet. I try to confirm that they are true by using multiple sources, identifying cars that I'm not really a car person.
Yeah.
I like cars. I love the older cars, but I am not able to actually identify those cars by myself. There is an Internet Movie Car database that identifies cars, and they have Columbo
cool.
on there, as well as all other movies and TV shows. And I basically collect information from all over the place, and then my own observations, because I like to watch and rewatch episodes. And I love looking at the backgrounds, and I basically collect all of it, take tons of notes, write lots of pages, and then I organize it into a script for myself to read, and then I get into editing.
Wow. There's so much there.
Yeah.
Each video probably takes me a little over 50 hours to finish. I've only just
Wow.
started writing down how long it's actually taking me to work on these.
Well, yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, I can
Yeah.
tell when I watch your videos that you put so much into them, so much research, so many little moments that you notice. So we can feel it. We
Yeah.
can feel your hard
Thanks.
work learning with it.
No, with like Columbo File, when my second watch it for days, I was my ego was jealous. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, this has got so much stuff in it. It's like, why we don't have it? So, but I love
Yeah.
it. I mean, I see it's funny, and like even I noticed in Murder by the Book, it was hilarious. You mentioned the plant in the corner of the.
Yeah.
I forget what you
That
said.
was this huge plant was pushing up the ceiling tile in that room.
There's so many great things that you catch, little tiny things that are so funny. It's just so excellent. Also, Murder by the Book, the when you started mentioning all the background actors when they're coming out of the theater, you're like, and this person did this, and this person did that. I love that. I mean, because I've done a little bit of background acting, so I feel for people who have done that. But you're actually mentioning their names, and this couple did X amount, and I thought it was fantastic. Did you get that from IMDb, or how did you do that?
Yes, that is the main place to get it. But sometimes Internet Movie Database does not have their picture.
Okay.
So then I have to start trying to search their name and find faces that go together and match the face in Columbo. And most of the time I've been able to find everybody, but there's a couple names that I can't find their face anywhere to find them in the episode. But yeah, most of all their names come from Internet Movie Database. But
yeah, like the writer, you found one photograph of the writer for Dead Weight. Where'd you find that one? Was that online somewhere?
Yep, online. Yep.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, because I looked for that I'm not sure if I looked for his image or anything, but I've looked for some images, and good work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shonna, I feel like you've got a workshop or something inside you to for other, vintage TV enthusiasts who want to dig into some of the details. I'm sure you have a wealth of knowledge and experience to help people, get to the bottom of those kinds of questions.
Thank you. Well, I figure if I'm going to spend so much time on it, I really want it to be good quality. So
yeah,
it's excellent. I have a question. I mean, this is kind of a nerdy question, but you have so many great images. You'll flash to a movie poster or a moment from like I said, I was watching Greenhouse Jungle, and you chat about Jarvis using a handkerchief over the phone, and then you flash to a scene from Police Squad where he's using a handkerchief over the phone. Anyhow, I'm curious, how do you keep all of your files organized? You must have so many movie posters and actor photos and clips and things. What's your system? I would feel like I would be totally overwhelmed, but you have seamlessly weave it all together, and I'm just curious.
Well, I kind of collect everything into one folder while I'm in the editing process. So I don't actually have all of it already because it would be overwhelming, because I would forget where things are. So I have an empty folder, and then as I begin editing, I start loading that folder up because I wrote my script. I know what I want to reference, and I know clips in my head that I know I want to go find, off of YouTube or off my own collection. yeah, it's during the editing process that I start getting tons of pictures and movie clips or TV show clips or anything like that, because it would be overwhelming to already have it, I think.
So none of them are like, you can't reuse some of those. It feels like some of these.
I could,
Yeah.
and maybe I should, but
Yeah.
I keep the clips. If I choose a clip for one of my Columbo reviews, I'll put it in a folder and I just have it called clips, because I don't know. I would get overwhelmed if I kept everything, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that. It's a lot, and we appreciate it.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. I was also curious about your location research. This is something so Paul and I talk about, episodes of Columbo on our podcast, and I love trying to find out where things were filmed. I do a ton of searching around and on the internet, looking through Google Maps, reading old blogs. But I would love to hear how you find locations, if you've, found things that work for you.
Well, Internet Movie Database actually does have a section per episode of people have put where locations are. They just have an address. So I take that address and I go to Google Maps and I see if I can find it, if the address is actually true. Also, Columbo File has that organized. They've got a map of pinpoints throughout Los Angeles of places that they've been in Columbo. Sometimes I spend a lot of time in Google Maps looking around trying to find the spot, which it sometimes takes a very long time and I don't find it. So it sounds like you do the exact same thing as me. It's nothing too complicated.
Okay. Yeah. That's the same experience I have. Sometimes I'll spend a really long time trying to find a location, and then at some point I just have to pull the plug and move on, because I'm like, I can't spend any more time on this. I have, So, okay, well, I'm kind of relieved to know that you have that experience sometimes too.
Yep. Because I've never been to Los Angeles. I've never been that far west, which I want to someday. It's all research.
Very cool. I was curious about if you write. I mean, you definitely have a good sense of humor and you make a lot of funny comments. Do you spend time writing, or where do you think you get your sense of humor from, I guess, is my question.
Oh, I think that's just me. I don't know. My mom's a very lighthearted person. I've always kind of tried to crack jokes. Usually they don't always work, but people tell me I have kind of a dry humor. And I think I also might get some humor from movies that I like. And I don't know. I think that's just who I am. I don't know exactly.
So in Death Lends a Hand, when Lenore Kennicott lets herself into Brimmer's house, it was hilarious. You said it's normal for Kennicott to, or what was the guy's name? For Brimmer to come home, turn on the lights, and it was abnormal behavior from Mrs. Kennicott to appear at his house. I thought that was really funny.
Right. And she was in the dark.
Yeah, in the dark, and she fixed a drink, and she cut, is that on the fly when you're recording, or did you ever write any of the lines?
I write everything I say.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because typically I'm actually not that good at ad-libbing very well. Because I draw blanks a lot and I want to make sure I'm saying the correct thing. And then, so as long as I have it all written down, once in a while I'll say something that I'm reminded of as I'm reading. And so then I'll say it. But I write down my entire script, because otherwise it'd just be me editing myself of silence and like that.
Was the one where you said in Death Lends a Hand, really quickly, I forget who was in the garage. I don't know if it was Columbo walked past the camera, but you noticed a little candy machine and you said, "Oh, look, they got little candy machines in the garage."
Yeah, that was when Kennicott had to identify Lenore at the morgue or the hospital or wherever they were. Yeah, the candy machine is out of order.
But did you write that down? Or did you?
Yep, I did.
Okay, good delivery. It's like you're so good at the deliveries.
That definitely takes practice. To try to read and sound natural takes practice, because otherwise you sound like you're reading.
Yeah.
So I try really hard to not sound like I'm reading.
And it's good.
Yes.
I like how you insert yourself in the characters too, like Eddie Albert. You're like when Columbo mentions to him about somebody witnessing the death, Suzanne Plagette, and then it's like you're Eddie Albert, and you're like, "Holy crows! Somebody saw me kill that invisible guy."
Thank you.
And then you
That's
insert
funny.
the image of the guy saying, "I could just disappear." So it was really funny. It was this really it was like two jokes in a row. It was great.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
All right, we have a few more questions for you here. We were curious if you have a favorite episode of Columbo, or is that a secret? Maybe, I don't know.
No, it's not a secret. No, I would say my favorite is Any Old Port in the Storm. Although I do not suggest that as being somebody's first Columbo episode, but I think that is my favorite episode.
Yeah, that one's great.
It's a classic.
I don't know. It's just particularly good to me.
Yeah.
Although I have lots of favorites. Like I said in one of my videos, that if I give it 5 cigars, it's my favorite.
Yeah.
Do you have favorite villains and why? Why would they be a favorite?
I'm sure I would say Jack Cassidy when he's Riley Greenleaf. I think he's hilarious. I think he's so funny.
Yes. That's the Columbo Files favorite. I saw an Instagram post from Columbo File recently. That's his favorite villain.
Oh.
And then Any Old Port in the Storm is also David Koenig's favorite episode. We got to, so he's the author of Shooting Columbo. We got to interview him too on our podcast.
You did?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we got to interview the Columbo File too. So that was a fun conversation.
I need to find these interviews so I can go
Send you the
listen to
link.
them.
But yeah, so you're in good company there.
Cool.
For sure.
Are there YouTubers that you watch? Like, what you do, with the soaps or with Columbo? Does that make sense?
I used to watch YouTube actually a lot more before my YouTube channel took off. because once I actually I had these goals in my YouTube channel, I ran out of time to watch YouTube.
Yeah.
That'll happen.
I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if I can list. These are my favorite YouTubers.
Yeah.
Right now.
I gotcha.
I mean, my subscription lists are public, so if you ever just want to see who I'm subscribed to, that could give you an idea of who I watch, because I don't keep that private.
Okay.
I can't say this is my favorite YouTuber.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were curious. So you have your Watch It for Days channel, and you have your soap channel. You mentioned your video game channel. You also have a soap business.
I do,
where you make and sell soap. How do you balance all the different projects that you have going on?
It is a challenge. I have to, because with my soap channel, I'm also editing those videos, although those, of course, are not as hard to edit.
Yeah.
Because it's just me making soap. But I don't know. I just, if I'm feeling like making soap, I make a lot of soap, and then therefore I'm recording it all and making a lot of videos. So I actually have backlogs with my soap videos and my soap stuff, so that I can focus on my Columbo stuff. But I don't think I've actually figured out a perfect balance. I'm still working on that.
Yeah.
I try to write things down a lot. I try to stay organized, but you know how it is.
Yeah, I can relate. I mean, Paul and I do this podcast as a side project, but then I also have a totally unrelated YouTube channel and a website and an Etsy shop. So I have all these other projects that I'm trying to carve out time for. And the podcast is like probably one of my favorite things that I do.
Yeah.
So I can't ignore everything else just for this. So,
right.
Yeah.
I also use Etsy. That's cool.
Etsy's nice for small businesses.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you, I guess to kind of wrap things up here, wondering what are your plans for your channel, or your hopes, or goals moving forward?
Well, my goal for the year was at least one episode a month, which it would have happened if they would let go of my most crucial game. Video. That was my goal, was at least one video a month. I was hoping more, but it's hard. But
yeah,
that was my goal, was for the year, was one a month, which is still my goal.
What you hope to achieve with your channel, like, are you planning to get through all of the...
Oh, yes. I wanted to do every Columbo episode before I even moved on to anything else. And fun fact, there's only one Columbo episode I've never seen before, and this is the final episode, and I was actually going to wait to see that episode when I'm actually going to review it, which is Columbo Likes the Nightlife, I think it's called.
Oh, really? Yeah, I haven't seen any of those.
Really?
Yeah, the 80s. So you've seen them all, but that last one.
I've seen them all except the last one, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's a few of those last ones that I have not seen either, even though I've seen, all of the classic Columbos multiple times.
Right.
But I haven't seen all of the new ones yet. So I'm also going to wait until Paul and I are going to record about that.
Yeah. I've only watched the other ones once, the 90s comeback episodes. I've only seen them once because it was slightly disappointing.
Yeah. Yes, they're definitely not the same.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're probably worth watching, but they don't have the same feel.
You're right. I do think they're worth watching. But
yeah.
It definitely feels like it's a different personality.
Yeah.
Using Columbo.
So you mentioned get through all of these before you go on to anything else. Does that mean that you would possibly do this with another series, or?
I don't know, because that's going to be a long ways away before I get there. So, I've got plenty of time to think about it.
Yeah.
Well, what would you do if you did another series?
I have no idea. I really don't. I've had plenty of suggestions from my viewers telling me that I should be doing other ones too, and I keep telling them I really want to finish.
Yeah, that's
You're
hilarious.
Like, one episode at a time here.
Oh, Liz, what's the photos of Tony are slightly different. Never noticed that.
Oh, yeah. So I was just making notes as I was watching your latest video, how you caught this tiny detail that I never noticed about Tony Goodland's photo.
Oh, yeah.
So he's it's hilarious. He signed these giant headshots of Tony. He signed one for his wife and one for Gloria.
Yep.
But they're different.
Yep. He got 2 shots. Yep.
And one of them, he's smiling for Gloria, and then for his wife, it's very serious.
Yeah. Yep.
Bradford Dillman.
Yes. And I was wondering, I was like, I wonder if the writers did that on purpose, that they were, they wanted to convey this relationship
it could be
dynamic.
It's
here.
So subtle though. It's hard to I didn't actually catch it until I was making that video. I was like, oh, these aren't even the same picture. Because all the time I always thought they were the same picture.
Yeah, me too. And I've seen that show multiple times and we've talked about it.
Right.
But sometimes there's just so much going on that I miss those things. So I thought that was very cool.
Where does Nezumi come from?
That is the Japanese word for rat.
Oh, okay.
Because believe it or not, I really like rats.
Yeah, I heard they're very good pets. Like for a long time.
They absolutely are. I've had rats since I was 12 years old. They are amazing pets.
How did you get one?
My daughter Beatrice really wants, well, at the moment she's not talking about it, but for a while she really wanted a pet rat.
Well, if you ever do get a pet rat, you should get another pet rat because they need each other. You need to have at least 2.
Because the soap looks like cheese, so it's like I thought maybe they like cheese. No, it's much more artistic. Well, I guess cheese is artistic too, but yeah, I love all the swirls and stuff that you imprint in there.
Thank you. I'm planning to do a soap series inspired by each Columbo episode.
Oh, cool.
Ooh, that sounds awesome.
That's my next goal for my soap channel.
Yay. We'll link to, in our show notes, dear listener, we'll link to Shonna's YouTube channel and your soap channel and your Instagram. And we can even put a link to your Etsy shop in there. So
Sure.
people can check it out. Maybe they can get on the wait list for your Columbo soaps.
Right?
That would make an excellent gift for any Columbo fan.
Yeah, it would. I one of my coworkers in the last show I worked on, he sent me a link to, and it's on our Instagram. And I don't know what else the person does, but they have like Columbo shirts, like "Don't bother me, I'm watching Columbo," and he's like, yeah, my friends. I had two of the editors I worked with. They were both had friends who were Columbo maniacs, so they may want to get some of that.
Oh.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right. Well, thank you, Shonna, so much for talking with us.
Oh, it was my pleasure. I can't believe you even wanted to get a hold of me.
Oh my gosh, of course. We love your work. It's amazing work. We can tell, you put so much into each of these reviews. I really hope the copyright folks stop holding you up and let you keep going here. They're just excellent.
Yeah.
Very fun.
The humor, it reminds me of, it's different, but Mystery Science Theater 3000, but you have a love for the show. And I think those guys do too. They have a love for those movies they make fun of, but it works really well, like very complimentary. I really dig that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yay.
You guys are very kind.
Thanks, Shonna.
Yeah, thanks, Shonna. It's awesome.
All right. Thank you to Maxime Gervais for our theme song, Columbo.
Thank you, Maxime.
And this podcast is edited by John Juarenas. Thank you so much, John.
Thanks, John.
And if you'd like to add to our conversation, you can email us at trenchcoatcigar@gmail.com or find us on Instagram. We are at trenchcoatcigar. Also, if you want video recordings of each of our podcast episodes and monthly updates and behind the scenes, join our Patreon. You can head to patreon.com/trenchcoatcigar. And if you could give our podcast a rating and review wherever you listen, that really helps our show and it helps more Columbo fans find each other.
Thank you so much, Shonna.
Thank you, Shonna, so much. Paul, just one more thing.
Yeah, Liz.
Thanks for listening.
Columbo, Columbo, trench coat, cigar, là toujours. Columbo, au monde Columbo, pas de gun, pas de look, what a look. Columbo, Columbo, trench coat, cigar, là toujours. Columbo, au monde Columbo, pas de gun, pas de look, what a look. Passion meurtrière, folie passagère. Rien à foutre devant l'expertise policière. T'avais un plan sans faille, pensez à chaque détail. L'inspecteur Columbo pensera toujours en